You see, everybody wants to talk when life is good. When the lights are shining, the camera's flashing, and the world's clapping for you, everybody wants to share their story. But the real story, the one that defines who you are, is written in the dark. It's written in silence. It's written when no one's watching. That's where the truth of a person lives. Because not everything you go through is meant to be spoken about. Some things are meant to build you, not broadcast you. In a world obsessed with showing off, keeping your struggles private has become a lost art. Everybody wants to prove something, to show strength, to post pain like it's fashion. But real strength, real power, it's quiet, it doesn't need validation, it doesn't seek applause. It just keeps moving forward, silently, consistently, faithfully. When you learn to keep your struggles private, you protect your peace. You protect your energy, you protect your vision, because not everyone who listens is listening to help. Some are listening to harm. When you talk too much about what hurts, you invite opinions that don't heal. You give access to minds that don't understand. People will pity you when you need power, gossip about you when you need grace, and question you when you need faith. That's why silence becomes your best friend. It becomes your shield, your strategy, your strength. When you're quiet, you can hear your own thoughts, you can talk to God without interruption, and you can move without distraction. See, storms don't announce themselves, they just arrive. And the ones who survive are the ones who don't panic, who don't scream for attention, who hold it together when the world expects them to fall apart. Keeping your struggles private doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise. It means you understand that not everyone deserves to see your process. The seed doesn't tell the soil what it's becoming. It just grows. The same goes for you. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your pain, your patience, or your progress. People love to see results, but they don't respect the grind that built them. That's why your journey, your fight, your late nights, your tears, they belong to you, not to the crowd, not to the critics. When you keep your struggles private, you give yourself the freedom to rise without interference, to heal without judgment, to grow without noise. Because the loudest victories come from the quietest battles, and those battles are won when you learn to stay still, stay strong, and stay silent. Silence protects your strength and peace, because when you stay quiet, you give yourself the space to think, to heal, and to plan without interruption. The world is noisy, full of opinions, distractions, and judgments that can easily pull you away from your path. When you choose silence, you create a barrier between your inner world and the chaos outside. You begin to listen to your own thoughts, your intuition, your faith. You start to understand that not everything requires a response, not every battle deserves your voice, and not every situation needs your explanation. Silence becomes your protection, not your weakness. It shields you from negativity and gives you clarity in confusion. People often mistake silence for surrender, but silence is strategy. It allows you to observe without reacting, to understand without revealing, and to move without alerting those who want to see you stumble. There's power in restraint, power in holding back when you could speak, power in letting peace guard your emotions. When you guard your energy, you stop feeding unnecessary fires. You begin to operate from a place of focus, not frustration. Real strength doesn't roar. It stays calm under pressure, it endures quietly, and it stands firm when the world pushes against it. The more you value your peace, the less you'll feel the need to explain or prove anything to anyone. Not every struggle deserves an audience, because some battles are meant to shape you privately, not perform you publicly. When you start sharing every difficulty you face, you open the door to unnecessary opinions, judgment, and distraction. People may listen, but not everyone will understand. Some will sympathize while others will criticize, and both can disturb the focus you need to overcome what you're facing. There is a sacredness in pain that's processed in silence, a strength that builds only when no one else is watching. The truth is, not every season of struggle is meant to be seen or explained. Some lessons lose their power when exposed too soon. When you keep your battles within, you allow your heart to heal without interference, your mind to think clearly, and your spirit to strengthen naturally. Sharing too much can sometimes weaken your resolve, because every time you speak about your struggle, you relive it instead of moving through it. Growth happens in quiet perseverance, not in public validation. The people who truly rise are those who fight their hardest fights when nobody knows what they're enduring. They fall in silence, cry in silence, rebuild in silence, and come back stronger than before. When you learn to hold your struggles close, you develop discipline, emotional maturity, and the power to control your own narrative instead of letting the world define it. For you, privacy is power. Secrecy is strategy, because what people don't know, they can't use against you. In a world where everyone is eager to share every detail of their life, holding back becomes your greatest advantage. When you move in silence, you move with intention. You protect your dreams from premature judgment and your progress from unnecessary interference. Privacy gives you control. It allows you to decide what the world sees and what stays hidden. It's not about being mysterious, it's about being wise. You understand that energy is precious and not everyone deserves access to yours. Every plan doesn't need an announcement, every goal doesn't need validation, and every move doesn't need approval. The strongest people are often the quietest because they know that real growth happens in unseen moments. Secrecy isn't deception, it's defense. It's how you shield your purpose from envy, how you protect your vision from doubt, and how you guard your spirit from negativity. When people can't predict your next step, they can't block it. When they can't read your emotions, they can't manipulate them. Privacy keeps your path sacred, your mind focused, and your direction clear. It allows you to act with freedom, without fear of noise or opinions. The less you reveal, the stronger your position becomes, because true power doesn't come from being known. It comes from being unshakable within yourself. Growth happens in quiet, not in noise, because real transformation doesn't need an audience. It takes place in the hidden hours when no one is watching, when you're alone with your thoughts, your pain, and your determination. The process of becoming stronger, wiser, and more disciplined happens in silence because that's where focus lies. When you remove the distractions, the comparisons, and the constant noise of other people's opinions, you start to hear your own voice more clearly. That's where growth begins, when you stop performing for the world and start working for yourself. The ones who truly evolve don't broadcast every step they take. They allow their results to speak when the time is right. The noise of the world will always try to rush you, to pressure you into proving your worth before you're ready, but patience is a builder. Silence gives you the space to fail, to learn, and to rise without judgment. It gives you time to nurture your ideas and strengthen your spirit before revealing what you've become. The roots of a tree grow deep underground before the branches ever touch the sky, and that same principle applies to personal growth. What's unseen is what sustains you. The quiet work you do in solitude, the discipline, the consistency, the sacrifices, creates the foundation for every success that follows. Growth doesn't happen in attention. It happens in alignment, in the stillness where you learn who you truly are. Let your results speak louder than your pain, because the world respects success more than it understands struggle. When you channel your energy into action instead of explanation, you turn every hardship into fuel for progress. People may doubt your ability, they may question your silence, but results silence every critic. You don't have to prove what you're going through, you just have to keep building, keep moving, and let the outcome tell your story. Talking about pain doesn't heal it, working through it does. The strongest individuals are not the ones who complain about their burdens, but the ones who carry them quietly and keep walking forward. Every setback, every disappointment, every sleepless night becomes part of the foundation for something greater. When you pour your emotions into your work, you create something undeniable, evidence of your resilience. The noise fades when results appear. The same people who ignored your struggle will clap for your success, and that's why you must stay focused. Let your discipline do the talking, let your consistency make the statement, and let your achievements be the answer to every doubt. When you choose to show progress instead of pain, you rise above the noise and earn respect without asking for it. The world listens differently when success speaks, and that voice carries more truth than any words you could ever say.